When I first started training, I thought I had it all figured out. I thought the harder I pushed, the faster I'd grow. I thought that if I trained longer, lifted heavier, and stayed later than everyone else, I'd eventually force my body to change. Now, that mindset sounds admirable on the surface, but it's the same mindset that kept me stuck for years. I was chasing more sets, more reps, more exercises, more days in the gym. If I wasn't leaving completely drained, if my shirt wasn't soaked in sweat and my arms weren't shaking, I felt like I hadn't done enough. But what I didn't understand back then was that the body doesn't reward excess, it rewards efficiency. Muscle growth isn't a punishment, it's a response. And when you keep pushing past your recovery, you're not growing, you're just digging yourself into a deeper hole. Looking back, that obsession with more wasn't dedication, it was somewhat insecurity. I didn't trust the process enough to slow down. The biggest mistake I tend to see everywhere now is people doing way too much, way too often. We live in an age of overload. Every influencer tells you they found the ultimate workout. You scroll through social media and every post shows something new, something better. But here's what they don't tell you. Muscle doesn't care about novelty, it cares about stress and recovery. When you flood your week with 6 or 7 training days, cram in 25 sets per muscle and never take a rest day, you're not signaling your body to grow, you're signaling it to survive. Your cortisol rises, sleep quality goes down the drain, your joints start aching, and slowly your motivation fades. You start wondering why you're putting in so much work, but looking the same month after month. I've been there. You start tweaking your split, adding in more sets, thinking maybe you're just not working hard enough. But that's the trap. You double down on the very thing holding you back. When you're young or you first get into lifting, you think recovery is optional. To some degree, it may be. You think rest is for people who don't want it bad enough. But let me tell you this, the body always collects what it's owed. I ignored the warning signs, tight shoulders, constant fatigue, the nagging tendon pain. I kept training through it, telling myself it's just soreness. Eventually, those small signs become injuries. Sometimes I lost weeks, months of training times because I refused to give myself a few days of rest. That's when I realized rest days aren't time off, they're part of the program. Every time you recover properly, you come back stronger. Every time you skip recovery, you come back weaker. It's that simple. Your muscle fibers don't grow during your 10th set of bench press. They grow while you're recovering. It's not about training more days, it's about training better on the days that matter. Another thing that held me back was program hopping. Every few weeks I'd switch to something new, a new split, a new method, a new exercise routine. I thought I was evolving, but really I was just starting over again and again. What I wish I knew back then is that your body needs time to adapt. You can't judge a program's effectiveness in 2 weeks. Progress in muscle building is a slow burn. It's built on momentum and repetition. Every time you switch, you reset that momentum. You never give your body a chance to master the movements, to build the neural connections that make you stronger and more efficient. There's a reason some of the greats stuck to the same core movements for years. They weren't chasing novelty, they were chasing mastery. They understood that progression comes from precision, not from constant reinvention. So once I stopped chasing more, everything changed. I began training 3 to 4 days a week, shorter sessions, higher intensity and more focus. I gave my body the time it needed to recover and suddenly I started growing again, getting stronger. My lifts went up, my recovery improved, my body composition started to change. It wasn't because I was doing more volume, it was because I was finally doing the right amount. That's when I learned the golden rule. Your progress is limited not by how hard you can train, but by how well you can recover from the training you do. Recovery is the most underrated part of the process. Everyone talks about sets and reps, but few talk about sleep, nutrition, and nervous system balance. Your muscles are just one part of the equation. Your hormones, your nervous system, your joints, they all need to recharge. If you're always tired, sore, and under-recovered, your body will fight against you. You'll feel weaker, not stronger. So treat recovery like training. Prioritize getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Fuel your body properly. Take active rest days, walks, mobility, work, even just downtime. When you recover deeply, your next session is more productive. And over time, that's what leads to sustainable, long-term growth. There's a point in everyone's journey where you have to stop following every external cue and start listening inward. Your body tells you what it needs, you just have to be quiet enough to hear it. If your joints ache, if your energy's low, if your motivation's fading, that's not weakness, that's feedback. Learning to listen to that feedback is what separates those who last from those who burn out. Some days, one all-out set is enough. Some weeks you need an extra rest day, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're slacking, it means you're training intelligently. Another thing I wish I knew is that the muscles that don't get much attention are often the ones that make the biggest difference. Everyone wants big arms, a wide back, big quads, but few pay attention to the smaller, less notable muscles. And ignoring those smaller muscles leads to imbalances, and those imbalances lead to injury and plateaus. The strongest physiques are the most balanced ones. They move well, they function well, and they last. So train your weak links, not because they look cool, but because they're essential. If there's one thing that time has taught me, it's this. Simplicity wins. You don't need endless variety. You don't need 4-hour gym sessions. You don't need to train every day. You need focus, you need recovery, you need patience. And most of all, you need to respect your body's signals. Every great transformation comes down to this balance. Push hard, recover hard. More isn't the answer. Better is. What I wish I knew years ago is that building muscle is not just a physical pursuit. It's a practice in self-awareness. It teaches patience, humility, and respect for your limits. It teaches you that growth happens in silence, not in the chaos of doing more, but in the stillness of doing enough. So slow down, train with intent, recover with purpose, and most importantly, listen to your body. It's the smartest coach you'll ever have. Because if you don't, you'll waste years chasing what was always right in front of you. Don't make my mistakes.